When I was a student, I got called in on a stroke patient. She had collapsed and they were doing CPR. They worked on her for 45 minutes, but she died. They cleaned her up and called the family to say goodbye. By the time the family left, she had been both brain dead and without a pulse for more than 45 minutes. Blood had filled her brain, and she was completely gray and started to smell. Suddenly, she sat up and called for her family. The nurses rushed to get monitors and equipment back on her. She stabilized, said goodbye to her family, and promptly died a second time. I am a night nurse for 4 years now at an old folks' home. Had a palliative who couldn't sleep because of incredibly vivid hallucinations. She would describe voodoo people around her room that would just stare at her, waiting for her to die. I didn't take it seriously until the lady across the hall, who rarely ever spoke, started seeing them in her room too. Legitimate shivers. Not my personal story, but when my mom worked as an ER nurse, a guy came in from a car accident and was losing blood. In the midst of resuscitation, the man jolts awake and screams, "Don't let me go back there. Please, please don't let me go back." A few seconds later, they lost him. We had a sweet lady named Ella, and she started to lose herself to dementia and started talking to herself. Most of the time it was playful. Sometimes she would laugh to herself. One day I walked into her room, and she was in a complete panic. She had her blanket pulled to her chin and was completely pale. I went to her bedside to ask her what was wrong, and she said, "There is a woman in black looking in my window, and I am just petrified of her smile." It shook me hard. I am a medical student. Back when I was doing an internship at an obstetrics hospital, I usually ended my night shift at around 2 a.m. As I walked back to my quarter, I would occasionally see a little girl, probably 5 to 7 years old, running and playing in the hall. When I brought this up with one of my professors, he just told me to turn a blind eye. According to him, they were just playing and would do no harm if you pretend you didn't see them.